Atys. A story of love and reason, tyranny and freedom, duty and desire. A young man, who seems to be living a charmed life, is in love with a beautiful woman, and is about to take up a prestigious position. He doesn't yet know he has caught the attention of a damn jealous power lady, who won't take no for an answer. It cannot end well. Prologue. The scene is in the Palace of Time. The god is surrounded by the 12 hours of day and the 12 hours of night. He declares that, despite his efforts to save the memory of the hero of the past, the glory of a new refulgent hero, Louis XIV, of course, is effacing them all. Flora, the goddess of the spring, approaches with her nymphs, braving the cold season of winter, to pay her homages to the king before it's too late. Also a Zephyr laments that games and love will be finished soon. Louis XIV, in fact, is leaving for the wars in March. But Melpomene, the muse of tragedy, comes accompanied by a band of heroes, and pushes her and her retinue aside. The queen of the gods, the mighty goddess Cybele, wants them to honor Atys, the beautiful youth, dead because of her. The followers of Melpomene take the place of those of Flora. The goddess Iris, Cybele's messenger, comes to reconcile Flora and Melpomene. The beauty of nature and the ornaments of the fairest arts must join themselves to celebrate Louis XIV. The first act takes place at dawn on a mountain consecrated to the goddess Cybele in Phrygia. Atys, favorite of the king Silenus, calls the sleeping Phrygians to prepare for the arrival of the goddess Cybele. She has promised to appear at the wedding of the nymph Sanga Reed, daughter of the river Sanga, and the king Silenus. His friend Atys mocks him. Atys takes pride in his control over his feelings, but Atys heard him speak of love. Sangaree arrives with Doris, another nymph, her friend, and sister of Atys. Sangaree pretends to be happy to be betrothed to Silenus, but in secret she loves Atys, the indifferent Atys. Atys, in fact, shuns love. Love, he says, causes too many tears to be shed. Sangaree opens her heart to Doris, but her unhappy love, which offends duty, must be condemned to silence. Atys surprises Sangaree in her distress. He cannot feign any more, and reveals that he loves her, of a love he had thought himself unable to feel. Even though Sangaree loves him too, an unmerciful duty forces them to feign once more. Their mutual protestations of love are interrupted by the Phrygians preparing for the arrival of Cybele and the wedding celebration. Cybele appears and announces that she is ready to choose her new high priest. The second act begins with Atys and King Silenus in the temple of Cybele. They speculate on whom Cybele may choose for her high priest. Cybele arrives and states that she chooses Atys as the high priest. Silenus loves Atys and graciously accepts her decision. In a private conversation with her confidant Melissa, Cybele admits that she has chosen Atys because of her passionate love for him. Cybele plans to apprise him of it in a new way, through dreams that the god of sleep will send to him. The chorus of nations celebrates Cybele's choice. A dance by the Zephyrs concludes the celebration of the sacrificer, whom Cybele has chosen. Third act. Atys is alone in the palace of Cybele's high priest. Despite the benefits of his new position, he yearns for Sangaree. While he's agonizing over the choice between love and honor, he is joined by Doris and Atys. They tell him how Sangaree is suffering as her marriage approaches. Sangaree herself intends, at the feet of Cybele, to declare aloud their secret loves. Atys falls into a deep sleep. This is Cybele's ruse, to apprise him of her love. Once asleep, Atys is first met by sleep, and by his emissaries, Morpheus, Phobetor, and Phantasmus. Accompanied by a dance by pleasant dreams, they sing of the joys of love. The bad dreams then appear and dance. They warn Atys of the danger of deceiving the gods. They are jealous and they love vengeance. Appalled by this last vision, Atys awakens with Cybele at his side, who reassures and caresses him. The dreams have spoken at her command. Bored with prayers, rituals, human sacrifices, she wants love. Does Atys understand? Does he return her love? Sangaree arrives and begs Cybele to stop her wedding to King Silenus, because she does not love him. Atys, still confused, intercedes on her behalf, but mostly to prevent her from revealing the love that binds them. And Cybele reassures Sangaree, only to openly say that she loves Atys. In fact, she has become aware of the too passionate friendship between Atys and Sangaree. Left alone with Melissa, Cybele expresses all her disenchantment and disappointment. The ungrateful Atys doesn't love her. The words of consolation uttered by Melissa have no effect against the growing jealousy of the goddess. Cybele suffers from Atys' indifference towards her, and, once alone, sings, "Hope, so beloved and so sweet, why do you deceive me?" The fourth act takes place in the palace of the river Sanga, father of Sangaree. Sangaree has interpreted Atys' confusion as love for Cybele, and laments in front of Doris and Atys, who, unsuccessfully, try to comfort her. Sangaree, feeling betrayed by Atys, resigns herself to her marriage to Silenus. But King Silenus realizes that she does not love him, and is only doing so to obey her father. Atys hears their conversation, and pities the king, who still does not know how bitterly his hopes are bound to be disappointed. He and Sangaree are left alone, and engaged in a somewhat heated discussion. Atys assures Sangaree that he loves her, and not Cybele. Sangaree realizes her mistake, and the two swear eternal faith. The river Sanga, Sangaree's father, approaches. He invites his retinue to celebrate the husband he bestows upon his daughter. The divinities of springs and streams express their approval through songs and dances. As Cybele's high priest, Atys is called to celebrate the wedding of Sangarede and Silenus. Atys undertakes a daring enterprise. He announces that Cybele forbade the wedding so that Sangarede may become a priestess of her right. He abducts Sangarede. Silenus accuses him of betrayal, and all the divinities are loudly indignant about that injustice. The fifth act begins in a beautiful garden where the two rejected lovers, Silenus and Cybele, meet. Silenus hears from Cybele, for the first time, that Sangarede is leaving him for Atys. They both agree on a terrible punishment for the two vile lovers. Atys and Sangarede are summoned, and threatened with a fearful death for their betrayal. In vain, they appeal for clemency on each other's behalf. But Cybele and Silenus are merciless. Enraged love demands vengeance. The jealousy of the goddess claims that Sangarede should be killed by Atys' own hand. Therefore, she evokes the hellish deity Electron to blind Atys with a magical spell. Electron waves a torch over Atys' head, rendering him temporarily insane. Prey to hallucinations Cybele has conjured up, unaware of what he is doing, Atys mistakes Sangarede for a monster. He chases and kills her. Phrygians and Cybele's priestesses watch in horror. At this point, Cybele ends Atys' insanity so that he might know what he has done. To complete her revenge, she claims that Atys should recognize his crime. He himself has slain the one he loves. Atys rebels against the heartless gods and, in a desperate fury, finds only a way to escape their cruel power. Just while Cybele is smitten with remorse and alone with Melissa, regrets the severity of the punishment, Atys enters. He has stabbed himself and is dying. Atys is going to rejoin his beloved Sangarede. Cybele is immortal and cannot follow him. To keep him with her forever, she transforms him into a pine tree that she will always adore. Choruses of water nymphs and woodland divinities join in her mournful grief. The gentle weeping of the nymphs is juxtaposed with the frenzy of the Corybantes. The final is unmitigated sorrowful. Everyone on earth must be afflicted by Atys' misfortune and his cruel death.